This video is brought to you in collaboration with WoWhead.com. Hello everyone! We've helped out the different dragonflights, even managed to set up a new aspect for the black dragons and reunite the blues. With patch 10.1.5 Dawn of the Infinites, we're gonna focus on the story of the bronze dragonflight and their aspect Nozdormu.
Time is a tangled web. Try not to dwell on all the loose ends.
After banding together to take out the Freda Galagrond, Nozdormu and his fellow proto-dragons were empowered by Keeper Tyr and their creators, the Titans, to each guard over the domain. For the bronze, it was going to be time itself, granted by Aman'Ful, leader of the Pantheon. Unto you is charged the great task of keeping the purity of time. Know that there is only one true timeline. There are those who would have it otherwise. You must protect it. Without the truth of time as it is meant to unfold, more will be lost than you can possibly imagine. The fabric of reality will unravel. It is a heavy task, the base of all tasks of this world, for nothing can transpire without time. On the opposite end of this, we find the infinite dragonflight, led by Nozdormu himself. Or to be more specific, his infinite version called Murozond. They've been showing up for a long time now, from back in the Burning Crusade at the Caverns of Time, to a more prominent role during the Cataclysm. We've even seen them help out Garrosh Hellscream when he had to escape his trial and make his way to alternate Draenor. They've been a threat looming on the horizon for our Nozdormu, as he was shown his moment of demise by the Titans, to make sure that not even the aspect of time saw himself outside of the rules. He knows when he's supposed to die. Even dragons like Chromie know this, and they're not allowed to change that moment. That's the whole reason how Murozond came to be, and has become a Murozond and being slain during the Cataclysm. That, according to Nozdormu, was that moment of demise that was shown to him.
At last it has come to pass. The moment of my demise. The loop is closed. My future self will cause no more harm. Still, in time, I will fall to madness. And you, heroes, will vanquish me. The cycle will repeat. So it goes.
Time travel can cause quite a headache. But all the same, our Nozdormu, even after losing a huge chunk of his powers with the defeat of Deathwing, he's still worried about becoming Murozond and the infinite dragonflight. They've so far been hyper-focused on making that future a reality.
And when that day comes to pass, I look to you to do what must be done.
Yes, Timeless One. I will do exactly what you need me to. I will find another way.
There is none.
Time encompasses all possibilities. You taught me that. I will search every timeline, every moment, until I find a solution to save you.
Chronormo, in all timelines, please know, I am, and always have been, proud of you.
My friend, do the clouds still accost your mind?
Something much more terrifying. A moment of clarity. I have lived 1,000,000 lives and witnessed their endless unfolding threads. Was it a vision? A memory or a dream? Is there any difference?
Nozdormu, what did you see?
My hour grows late. Those who broke their oaths to the Timeways, the Infinites, have struck a bargain. I do not know what Iridikron has promised them, and yet...
We have defeated each of them before.
Yes, but together... The infinite horizon is all but inevitable. And once I become what they desperately want me to be, version of myself. The future will be lost. And so will I.
I am not giving up on you, my friend. We are not giving up on you.
The Infinite Dragonflight, led by Chronoloord Deus, who you might remember from the Ulrman revamp dungeon, where they threw the disc that we needed to hopefully re-empower the aspects into the Timeways. That Deus has allied with Iridacron, and while we're uncertain what the Primal Incarnate wants, safe to say that Deus wants to bring about the birth of Murozond. Nozdormu asks us to meet him at Eon's Fringe, but instead we run into future Chromie. She's here to solve all of our problems. All we need to do is drop down some temporal hourglasses to realign the timeways and fetch her some time-lost essence from the creatures around this place. With our help, Nozdormu won't have to worry about a thing. But something seems to be a little bit odd about this Chromie, even more odd than usual. Even our current Chromie is a bit confused as to why her future self would want us to do this. All her realigning seems to have done is summon her. Alternate timeline versions of her. She has never seen so many Chromies in one place, and while they all may be super cute, they're playing havoc on the local timeways. We need to fix this, trap them to synchronize their time signatures. Maybe then they'll be able to tell us what is going on. The different variations, they're really cool to see, like Chromie, who says, so many little messes running around, but where's the one who pulled me here? We need to have a big talk. Or Chronormu, who says, we should not be here. She should not be here. It goes against the natural order. All kinds of variations out of different timelines that normally would have just disappeared on their own. All the variations, they make one thing clear though. That Chromie from the future is not a future Chromie at all.
Ha! Figured it out, did you? A little too late. You're working with the Infinite? What a terrible Chromie! It's Morty, you brat! And yes, the time has come to bring about Murozond! Wanna stop me? Catch me if you can!
Morty's accomplice goes down, but we can't rest until Morty herself is captured, sent packing back to her own Chromie timeline. Up to us to figure out who among the Chromies is actually Morty. And since we have been paying attention, we know that the Infinite Dragon is hiding as Chronormie.
Oh, sure. You can interrogate me. Or you could go save your precious bronze temple. The temple? What are the Infinites planning? We shall ensure the rise of our master, Murozond. And the longer you stand here talking to me, well... We have to go. Nozdormu needs us. If he becomes Murozond, then we can't lose him. We're here, Nozdormu.
Too late for me, I'm afraid. The Infinite Dragonflight has already entered the temple.
It's never too late. We can still stop them. We are not giving up on you.
Ever the optimist, Chronormu. Yes, we must try.
Nozdormu seems to have pretty much resigned to his fate, but Chromie isn't giving up quite yet. Together we ride into the brand new mega dungeon called Dawn of the Infinite. The Bronze Temple has lain dormant for millennia, until the return of the dragons to the Isles. Once again, the art team has knocked it out of the park with the design of this place. I would highly recommend to check it all out. Use an inky black potion to add just a bit more flavor.
You only delay the inevitable! Murozond shall rise!
The Sanctum of Chronology is already overrun with infinite forces, but we fight our way through them into our first encounter, Chronocar.
We will keep the reinforcements at bay while you take care of their commander.
Right. We've got your back.
She has spent her entire life in service to the Infinite Dragonflight. Even though we are trying to stop the birth of Murozond today, time travel, what a concept. Making her way up the ranks until she earned the title of commander. Even amongst the radical infinites, her zealotry is unmatched. As the venerated rearguard, she will stop at nothing to put an end to any who dare oppose her order.
No! Murozond must rise.
Now to open the timeways.
This never gets old. What a mess! The timeways are all misaligned.
The infinites have done well covering their tracks. This will take us some time. Champions, you must destroy any anomalies that appear. We cannot have them further twisting the timeways.
When do you think the infinites went to, Nozdormu?
I do not know. They have often tried to corrupt the true timeline, but to invade the Bronze Temple to do so...
Must be far in the past, then. They risk unraveling all of time as we know it.
Indeed. And they will stop at nothing to ensure the rise of my darkest self, Murozond.
Even the aspect of time cannot be allowed to disrupt the timeways.
No, we're trying to fix them.
We have no choice. Champions, you must fight. She cannot bar our path.
Meddling with the timeways is taken quite literally here, as a manifestation of the sense of time itself stands before us. An ancient being that's always watching, always waiting for the moment when the timeways are in peril. She was unable to stop the infinite dragonflight as they crashed away into the past. Now, faced with more intruders, she refuses to fail a second time. We have no way of convincing her that we're actually here to help, so no choice but to fight our way through it.
Countless I see now. You must stop the infinite dawn.
With me, champions. The pathway is opened. I have tracked the infinites to a place, a moment where I dare not tread.
You're not coming with us?
I shall be with you, in a sense, but not as you know me now. I have faith in you, my friends, and even should Murozond rise, know that all is not lost.
We're at a critical moment in the history of dragonflights, the time in which they banded together and took on the monstrosity of Galakrond.
That corpse above us, it's Galakrond. He must have just fallen. He was the biggest proto-dragon ever. His hunger nearly consumed all of dragonkind.
A report of Keeper Tyr. It indicates that the corruption of Galakrond is rooted in the powers of the old god Yogg-Saron. Rooted in the powers of the void that corrupted living waters, which were then consumed by Galakrond. This was caused the massive proto-dragon to mutate, become so big and hungry that he even started to hunt and devour his own kind, to then puke them out again, create little zombie proto-dragons and eat those once more.
Be careful. We've gone back before the aspects were even the aspects. We have to find the, proto-aspects? They'll know what to do. Uh-oh. That slime is full of necromantic power. Looks like we'll need to mop this up.
Enzon, Dazak and Laskalev. The hunger of the storm, gluttony of the flame, and starvation of the cold. They're being brought back by the necrotic energies dripping from the corpse of Galakrond. Curious that they represent similar elements to Razagev, Virak, and Viranov. Now that hunger that once upon a time consumed Galakrond, it now infuses their being, and we are looking like a tasty meal.
So hungry.
We face enemies above and below. So we're trapped.
I'd hardly say that.
Nozdormu! Alexstrasza! Everyone! The infinites are here, and we have to stop them! They wanna... Oh, there's no time to explain. But please, you must trust me. The future of dragonkind depends on it.
You are an odd little dragon. But there is something kind about you.
I cannot explain why, but my instincts tell me we should trust her.
I sense strange energies below, and a great earthly power above, and something else.
Earth? Oh no! Me and these heroes will take care of that one. You worry about the infinites.
Very well, little dragon. My friends, with me!
If Iridicron came here with the infinites, then they must be working together. Oh, that's bad. Really bad. Can you scout ahead? I'll be with you in a moment.
This area is called the Crossroads of Fate, aptly named as here we split up and we pick a task to complete. While our allies, the future dragon aspects, have already managed to overcome Galagrond, they fly out to confront the infinites and the corruption of Nozdormu into Murozond. We focus our attention on Iridicron.
So, the Titan's puppets have come to face me.
He's siphoning Galacron's essence into a vessel? It looks kind of like the Dragon Soul, but even more ancient.
A hunger lost to the ages. One which I shall reclaim.
I need an opening to destroy that relic!
The corruption of Galagrond is the reason why he's returned to this timeline. Whatever specific thing Yaxaron managed to slip into the Proto-Dragon, Iridicron wants to absorb it into his disc and take it with him for whatever he wants to do with it. I've heard the suggestion of infusing the 5-headed monstrosity Chromatis with the mutating hunger of Galagrond. Now that could be really awesome to see, but we do know for certain that Iridicron wants to topple the aspects, rid the world of the Titan's influence. Regardless, we're not going to let our Iridicron get away with it. By standing united with Chromie, we managed to bring the epically powerful Primal Incarnate low.
Here goes nothing! Yes! We did it! No. Nozdormu?
Nozdormu is gone. Only Murozond remains.
No. I won't give up on you. When are we? No. This can't be right. The infinites changed the true timeline. This can't be happening. If Murozond exists, that means Nozdormu. No. We can fix this. We have to get back to the time ways.
Nozdormu is gone. All hail Murozond and the reign of the infinite dragonflight. Their power and influence has shifted us away from the true timeline into a different one, and Chromie, again, is not about to give up. We'll have to fight our way back into the temple, figure out some way to change all of this. In a way, there stands Tyr's vanguard, and none other than the Keeper himself.
Tyr is fighting for the infinites? No! This isn't right!
For too long I was bound by the shackles of the Titans. Now my mind is open to infinite possibilities. But your path ends here. You cannot stop what is infinite.
The longtime friend of the dragons, who stood against the will of Odin as he called upon their creators to empower the aspects. He's now become their infinite keeper. His legendary loyalty now turned against us. We have no choice but to fight him. In the realm of infinite possibilities, you have to wonder what kind of Tyr this actually is. Is this the original one? Perhaps one that was never forced to blow himself up to save his friends, as the timeline, it falls in line with the will of Yaxaron and the Void? Or did they also build a new body, like we're still trying to do?
Tyr has always been a hero to dragonkind. I just have to keep telling myself this wasn't really him. Okay, let's fix this. We just need to... Uh-oh. An infinite army might slow us down a bit. Time to get speedy.
And hopefully avoid any of the attacks that the infinites throw at us. Otherwise, we're sent right back to the beginning. Thankfully, we can open up a shortcut once we reach the end of the gauntlet, where the area has been taken over by more temporal creatures.
The time ways are even twistier than before. There's no way I can get us back to the past like this. When time gets rewritten, things get messy here. Be ready for anything.
The anomaly is an event that happens over and over and over again across the many different timeways. It's the Horde and Alliance fighting each other. We get to jump in there. As a member of the Alliance, you will fight against Gromarch Hellscream. For the Horde, you take on Anduin Lothar. One more anomaly needs to be cleared out before we can travel to the past again. That crossroads of fate where we made our critical choice.
Oh no! It's Morchi! What is she doing here? Aww. Is the goody-goody trying to save Nozdormu? Well, too bad. You, I'll deal with personally. This timeline has no need for heroes.
Morchi is Chromie's infinite counterpart, and she has equal dedication to her aspects. They just want completely opposite things. And this fight, it reminds me a lot of Chromie's Heroes of the Storm trailer, where we could see those many different variations of herself. Despite giving it her all, Morchi is unable to stop us, and with her defeat accepted, she hands over a time relic.
No! It was supposed to be my time. You all know what to do. What's this? A time relic? There's 2 arrows pointing to the right. Poor Morchi. I wonder if we could have been friends in another time. She did have great hair. A little heavy on the eyeliner, though. We only get one chance at this. Traveling so far into the past takes a lot of power, and I'm no aspect. Here we go! Alright, we have to make sure Murozond doesn't... exist? Rise? Oh, you know what I mean. We don't have time for this. Oh, where's that relic I picked up? Aha! Well, here goes nothing. Oh, shoot! Can you handle this?
Going back in time, it means going back before the rise of Murozond, but also before we cleared out the Blighted Galagrond. This time, Chromie will clean it up while we take on the infinite forces that's set on bringing about their master.
Come on! The aspects are just ahead! The proto-aspects, I mean.
We face enemies, above and below. So we're trapped.
I'd hardly say that.
Everyone! The infinites are here, and we must stop them! You have to trust me!
You are an odd little dragon, but there is something kind about you.
I cannot explain why, but my instincts tell me we should trust her.
Yes, I know! Now, we have to face the infinites together this time. They're the black glowy dragons in the ravine.
This time?
It's a long story. Trust me. I know there's a dragon above us on that ledge, but we'll handle him after we defeat Deos.
Very well, little dragon. My friends, with me, we face them together!
Murozond shall rise and lead us to a greater future! Can you not see?
Oh, we saw plenty. Not this time, Deos.
With time turned back, we get a shot at stopping Chronolord Deos from corrupting Nozdormu and bring about Murozond. The whole mighty army of the Infinites is summoned in, but with us are the future aspects, those that manage to unite and overcome a threat like Galakrond. With ours and Chromie's aid, we're able to stop Deus. But let's not forget, we did go back in time. We went back before we cleared the blighted Galakrond. And also, before we stopped Iridikron, who now faces no opposition while taking an essence of Galakrond.
Our infinite vision shall one day be...
We did it! Our future is secured!
Tell me, little one, have you ever questioned why the Titans preserve this timeline?
The Titans safeguard our world from monsters like you!
Your faith means nothing to them. As you burn in the flames of my brother's wrath, they will not come. All they wanted was our world. With this, the Harbinger will pry it from their grasp. And when the Titans come to reclaim their prize, I will be waiting.
What terrible presence stood before us? And what relic does he hold?
Oh, you won't have to worry about him for a long time. Us, on the other hand, oh, shoot. I'm sorry. I'm sure you have lots of questions about the timeline.
I think I understand. We must preserve the future, and any knowledge you share may change that.
Then they should return.
They should. Still, I want to ask, that future you are returning to, is it worth fighting for?
Oh, yes, Nozdormu. Very much so. And I can't wait for you to see it. Goodbye, everyone. It was nice to meet you all again. For the first time.
Well, whatever comes, I vow to always defend Dragonkind.
Yes, my friends. Together we will nurture all life on this world.
The bonds forged between us can never be broken. Not now. Not ever.
Let's get out of the past, out of the time waves, and jump back into our timeline. Did we manage to do it? Did we prevent Nozdormu's corruption?
Thank you, champion. Without you and Chronormu's bravery, I could not imagine what would have...
Nozdormu? Nozdormu! Everything's back how it was.
Not everything. The clouds in my vision have parted, and I can breathe without doubt or despair. I feel alive again. Thanks to you.
But what of Iridikron?
While we stopped the Infinites, Iridikron escaped through a kind of void tear, taking Galakrond's essence with him.
A void gate. His dark dealings have come to fruition.
It feels like he's leaving this war to his kin. His hatred for the Titans is all he cares about.
Nozdormu, can you perceive where he has gone?
He has passed beyond my sight. All I see now are burning embers, encroaching upon...
Marithra must be warned. If Varrock leads their forces now, he will be vicious and strike where we are most vulnerable.
The World Tree.
Yes, as dangerous as he is. For now, we must leave Iridikron to his schemes and steel ourselves for whatever Varrock and Viranoth are preparing to unleash. The defense of Amirdrasil. comes first.
No matter what lies ahead, you were right, Chromie. The future is worth fighting for.
And so, we accomplished what Chromie set out to do. We saved Nozdormu from his inevitable fates. But it did come at a great price. Galagrond was corrupted with the influence of Yogg-Saron and the Void. The power from his vanquished body, Iridikron now holds in a Dragon Soul-like device. Alexstrasza made mention as to how the other Prime Incarnates, they most likely didn't know how far Iridikron went to keep their war going. Dark dealings, which, as it turns out, were dealings with the Void, making the Earth-aligned Proto-Dragon even more similar to Deathwing than he was already before. Within the gateway, we can also see a silhouette which looks a lot like Xal'atath. For those who weren't around during Legion or Battle for Azeroth, Xal'atath started out as the artifact for Shadow Priests. Her origin or nature is a little bit unclear, but she was able to drop some really interesting lore and speculation until we released her from the Blade. She got herself a brand new body and then handed us over to the old god N'Zoth. It's a bit much to fully go into within this video. I do have the story of Xal'atath, which I'll link down below. Point being, Iridikron is partying with Team Void. And the Void has this interesting thing where they can see 1,000 truths, 1,000 possibilities, whereas the Light, and in essence, the Titans as well, they can only see one truth. One true timeline, if you will, which the Bronze Dragons have been safeguarding. Aman'Thul has said that if that one true timeline does not play out as it's supposed to, then more will be lost than we could possibly imagine. But is that the truth? Or is that their point of view? Their way of imposing order upon the entire universe? What would happen if you break open the timeways and embrace the different timelines? Recent media is played a lot with this concept, and of course, only time is going to tell how this story is going to play out. And let's not forget about the mention of a Harbinger. Does he just mean Xal'atath, or is Azshara going to make an appearance? Are the Titans actually going to show up, and will Sargeras be with them? Is there going to be a return of Illidan Stormrage? Exciting stuff for the future. The near future, a little bit more around the corner, that has us look towards the story of the Green Dragonflight, the Night Elves, and the newly named World Tree of Yggdrasil. In the past, we've had Nordrassil, blessed by the dragon aspects, and then blown up in Warcraft 3 to defeat Archimonde. Then we had Teldrassil, burned down by Sylvanas and the Horde. And now we have a Murozond, a seed from the Shadowlands infused with the Night Elf spirits, grown within the Emerald Dream. And now on Nozdormu, he can see burning embers. Vrak is still flying around with his empowered Shadow Flame. Virinov has no intention to go for peace, and his vengeance is all they have left. Again, stories to be told in the future. Now, to bring it back to the major story of this patch, how they've dealt with the story of the Infinite Dragonflight, the way that I see it, and please keep in mind, this is personal interpretation. There are two possibilities. Option one is that they simply wanted to get rid of the story of Murozond, which has been built up since the dawn of Nozdormu and played a major part during the Cataclysm expansion. This has been around 13 years ago, since they penned out that ultimate fate of Nozdormu. The cycle in which he must become Murozond. And since then, they've had different teams, different visions for the story. They've now decided to deal with that story in a single patch. We now have a depowered Chromie with simple determination that was able to stop the inevitable moment of demise for Nozdormu that he has dreaded since, well, being turned into the aspect. And now we don't have to worry about Murozond anymore. That's an option. But it also creates a couple of problems with what we know so far. The being that we see corrupted into Murozond is Proto-Nozdormu, not a Titan-empowered Dragon Nozdormu. So how was Chronolord Deus able to convert him into the aspect of the Infinite Dragonflight? The Dungeon Journal describes Nozdormu's corruption as once being the great dragon aspect Nozdormu, the Timeless One. After the Titans showed him his own death, the tormented Nozdormu was tricked by the old gods, not Deus, into trying to subvert his mortality. As a result, Nozdormu shattered the timeways and created the Infinite Dragonflight. Sometimes the argument is raised that this is just an alternate version and not really our Nozdormu, but that doesn't work, as our Nozdormu, he confirms that this is his moment of demise. He will become this Murozond. And then, even if we do go by the idea that we've now stopped Murozond from ever being a thing, then how do events like the Cataclysm or the birth of the Infinites ever happen? We took him out at his moment of creation, so he had no option to cruise the timeways beforehand. So all of that is option one. Clear the board of Nozdormu's ultimate demise, his ultimate fate of becoming Murozond. We say today onwards to help out the next Dragonflight with the problems listed above. And then there's option 2, which in my opinion is a bit more exciting. We don't stop Nozdormu's fate or the birth of Murozond at all. We've merely delayed it, and he will still need to accept his fate in the future. We know that Iridikron is partying with the powers of the void, and while Azeroth is cleansed of the old god's infection, in his hands is now a disc brimming with the powers that originate from the old god Yogg-Saron. We also know that while the old gods might be gone from the planets, they are still out there in the domain of the void. And of course, there's time travel, so the origin point of the old gods manipulating Nozdormu, that could still become a reality. Then we know that Iridikron has set his sights on taking on the Titans themselves. Interesting side note is that Hearthstone is also diving deep into the subject of the Titans at the moment. Last we saw the Titans was leaving them behind at the end of Legion, left them behind at the seat of the Pantheon, where Aman'Thul, Eonar, Norgannon, Golganath, Kaskarov and Agramar, they're containing their corrupted brother Sargeras, while Illidan Stormrage was also staying behind. Sargeras always feared a titanic world soul corrupted by the powers of the void. That's the whole reason why he created his Burning Legion. But according to all sources, Azeroth is a final slumbering titan soul. She's been cleansed of the corruption of the old gods now. Although, let's not forget that Iridikron is running around with his disc. But all the same, Azeroth, a titan spirit, said to be potentially more powerful than Sargeras himself. She was given a chance to grow and mature. Given a chance to overcome the corruption of the old gods and the voids. That means that there's no more reason for Sargeras to fear this corrupted titan spirit anymore. Could he himself perhaps have been cleansed? Will we actually see the Pantheon return to Azeroth? And if they do, perhaps the dialogue from Murozond, it can get a whole different meaning.
The end time, I once called this place. I had not seen by then. I did not know. You hope to what? Stop me here? Change the fate I worked so tirelessly to weave? You crawl unwitting like a blind, writhing worm towards endless madness and despair. I have witnessed the true end time. This is a blessing you simply cannot comprehend. You know not what you have done, Aman'Thul. What I have, at last it has come to pass.
While we might believe to have done something great with Chromie today, perhaps we have also unknowingly stepped towards a future far more dangerous. One in which Nozdormu will have to embrace his inevitable fate. Or perhaps we're gonna go into the madness of the multiverse. Who knows? Could be fun, seeing some of those daily quests that we're already doing with Nozdormu, a World of Warcraft taken over by Murlocs, or where everybody is a corgi. It might not be so impossible anymore. Either way, this is where we're gonna wrap up the video for today. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. Say there's one more details on all the things that we talked about today, then be sure to check out the related WoWhead article in the description down below. And by all means, let me know what you think of the story of the Infinite so far. And until next time, see ya!